Everyone was shocked. It's a big challenge and I like it. I like to accept it.
$10 million. That's the minimum figure Sportico estimates Alex Eala could earn away from the tennis court.
For him, it's a lose-lose. For me, it's the win-win, right?
From July 2025 through June 2026.
And deal with this life of being, Michael Jordan in the Philippines.
Sponsors continue to circle, continue to line up, and continue to present new endorsement offers.
I have never really the biggest server in comparison to a lot of the girls.
It is the kind of number that usually comes after a Grand Slam title. After a career-defining Sunday in Paris, London, Melbourne, or New York. After the confetti, the trophy, and the champion's speech. But Alex Eala has not played in a Grand Slam final. She has not won a WTA Tour singles title. Yet, as of the WTA rankings released on June 29, 2026, she sits at world number 32 with a 27-17 record this season and career prize money of $871,438. Those on-court earnings are impressive for a 21-year-old player. But they're tiny compared to what she is reportedly earning away from the court. Prize money and endorsement money are operating in completely different worlds. They are not even part of the same conversation. That enormous gap between what Eala has officially achieved in competition and what the commercial market already believes she is worth has quietly become one of the most fascinating stories in professional tennis. To understand why, you have to go back to Wimbledon. On July 4, 2026, Eala walked onto center court as an underdog and produced one of the biggest upsets of the tournament. She defeated defending champion Iga Swiatek in straight sets, winning a dramatic first-set tiebreak before closing out the match 7-6, 6-2. 2 days later, her Wimbledon run ended with a fourth-round defeat to Jasmine Paolini, who prevailed 6-4, 4-6, 6-3. Her tournament was over. But the sponsors were not waiting to see whether she would lift the trophy. They had already arrived. In fact, many of them had been investing in Eala long before Wimbledon ever began. That raises the obvious question. Why? The easy explanation is hype. Whenever a young athlete becomes commercially valuable before collecting major titles, people instinctively assume the market has become irrational. They expect the excitement to fade and reality to catch up. But the numbers tell a different story. According to Sportico's 2026 Highest Paid Athletes report, covering the 12 months ending June 30th, Alex Eala joined an exclusive group of just 7 women in tennis who earned at least $10 million in off-court income. One of the other names in that group was Naomi Osaka. Osaka owns 4 Grand Slam singles titles and has spent years among the sport's biggest global stars. Eala has none. Yet the commercial market has placed them in the same financial category. That is an extraordinary statement. It suggests sponsors are no longer viewing Eala simply as a promising young player. They are valuing her as a global brand. Unfortunately, this is also where the internet has complicated the story. Over the past 18 months, social media has repeatedly circulated sensational claims that Eala signed a $45 million Wilson racket deal, accepted a $2 million sponsorship from Emirates Airlines, or even received a multi-million-dollar Louis Vuitton offer personally presented by LVMH chairman Bernard Arnault after the US Open. None of those stories are true. A detailed fact-check published by the Asian Journal identified those reports as fabricated content designed to generate clicks and engagement, particularly among Filipino audiences online. The verified reality is much simpler. Eala remains under contract with Babolat and continues to compete with the Pure Aero 2023 racket. Ironically, the most interesting part of those fake stories is not that they exist. It is that so many people believe them. A fabricated Louis Vuitton offer only spreads if people already think it sounds plausible. That plausibility says far more about Eala's commercial reputation than the rumor itself. So, what does her real endorsement portfolio actually look like? It is arguably even more impressive than the fictional one. Globe Telecom, one of the Philippines' largest telecommunications companies, signed Eala when she was only 8 years old, years before she earned a WTA ranking or became an international tennis prospect. Nike provides her apparel and footwear. Babolat supplies her rackets. The Bank of the Philippine Islands has partnered with her on financial literacy initiatives aimed at young Filipinos. In July 2025, she also became an ambassador for Locally Juice, a growing Philippine beverage company. Every one of those partnerships has been publicly announced and independently verified. Together with additional commercial agreements that remain private, they form the foundation of Sportico's estimate that Eala generated more than $10 million in off-court earnings. And this is where the story truly changes. The remarkable part is not that Alex Eala is being overpaid. The remarkable part is that the sponsorship market has already recognized something the rankings have not fully reflected. Brands believe Eala captures attention in a way very few players can. Evidence of that has appeared everywhere. At Indian Wells earlier this year, Eala's matches attracted crowds so large that Coco Gauff addressed them directly after her own match. "Thank you guys for coming out here," Gauff said. "I know you were mostly supporting Alex, but I have to say it's great to be on a crowded court." Think about that for a moment. Gauff is a Grand Slam champion and one of the biggest names in women's tennis. Yet she was thanking spectators who had primarily come to watch someone else. That is more than fan enthusiasm. It is a market signal. Sky Sports lead tennis presenter Gigi Salmon described a similar atmosphere during an interview with Tennis 365. Reflecting on Eala's recent tournaments, Salmon recalled the scenes in Miami and the Middle East. "The crowds were phenomenal," she said. Speaking about Dubai, she added, "It was like a pop concert. It was like Taylor Swift was playing. People were screaming." Then came perhaps the strongest observation of all. "I would say, in terms of her appeal and the crowds that follow her, she might already be the biggest star." Those comments were not made about 1. They were made about a player ranked outside the top 30. That forces a different way of thinking about tennis economics. Traditionally, sponsorship follows success. Players win Grand Slams. They climb into the top 10. Then luxury brands begin calling. Alex Eala has reversed that timeline. The commercial world moved first. The rankings are still catching up. And perhaps that is because brands are asking a different question than tennis fans often do. They're not asking, "How many trophies has she won?" They're asking, "How many people stop what they are doing when she steps onto a tennis court?" By that measure, Alex Eala is already competing with the biggest names in the sport. That reality was perhaps summed up best by four-time Grand Slam champion and former world number 1 Kim Clijsters. Speaking on the Love All podcast with Blair Henley earlier this year, Clijsters reflected on the extraordinary attention surrounding Eala and the unique pressures that come with carrying the expectations of an entire nation. Recognizing that
with this life of being, Michael Jordan in the Philippines.
Alex has to deal with this life of being like Michael Jordan in the Philippines.
People just think it's online and it's in the news and everything. It's not easy.
She followed that comparison with an important warning. It's going to be very important for her to be protected a little bit from the craziness that comes with all of that and to keep focusing on what she has to do. Those are not the words of an excited fan on social media. They came from Kim Clijsters, a four-time Grand Slam champion and former world number 1, speaking thoughtfully about the extraordinary spotlight surrounding Alex Eala. Clijsters was not simply praising Eala's talent. She was acknowledging the unique burden that comes with becoming the face of an entire nation. She later explained why Eala is such a difficult opponent on the court. Her left-handed game immediately changes the angles. Her two-handed backhand, Clijsters suggested, may be even more dangerous than her forehand. She can defend with remarkable speed, then instantly switch into attack, bringing what Clijsters described as a pit bull mentality to every rally. Those are the tennis reasons. But the comparison everyone remembers is the Michael Jordan comparison. Because Michael Jordan in the Philippines is not really about basketball. It is about cultural influence. It is about becoming a household name whose presence extends far beyond the sport itself. That is exactly what global sponsors are investing in. When luxury brands evaluate Alex Eala, they are not looking only at her current ranking. They are looking at an entire market. Of course, they see the Philippines, a nation of more than 115 million people, but they also see millions of Filipinos living abroad in the United States, Canada, Japan, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Singapore, Australia, and across Southeast Asia. They see a global audience that follows Eala wherever she competes. That audience was impossible to ignore during the Middle East swing earlier this year. When Eala played in Dubai, the atmosphere resembled a home tournament. Fans packed the stands, many having traveled internationally simply to watch her compete. That kind of support cannot be manufactured. It has to be earned. Within the sponsorship industry, another comparison frequently appears. Emma Raducanu. Tennis 365 drew that parallel directly earlier this year, noting that both players occupy a unique position where athletic performance intersects with global cultural appeal. Both attract crowds that often exceed what their rankings alone would predict. After Raducanu's unforgettable 2021 U.S. Open triumph, endorsement opportunities worth tens of millions of dollars arrived almost immediately, even before her ranking fully settled. Alex Eala's path has been different. According to Sportico's estimates, she has already entered that same commercial tier without winning a Grand Slam and without capturing a WTA Tour singles title. Her first WTA-level singles trophy came at the WTA 125 event in Guadalajara in September 2025, making her the first Filipina to win a WTA Challenger-level singles title. It was an important milestone. But it was not the achievement that traditionally unlocks elite sponsorship opportunities. Those opportunities had already arrived. The endorsements came first. The trophies are still catching up. None of this means the questions surrounding her tennis have disappeared. When Eala lost to Jasmine Paolini in the fourth round of Wimbledon on July 6th, falling 6-4, 4-6, 6-3 in a physically demanding three-set battle, it served as a reminder that she is still developing. She remains a young player capable of producing stunning victories against the world's best, while also learning how to close out matches against experienced top 10 opponents. Earlier in the season, following her three-set defeat to Alicia Parks at the Australian Open, Kim Clijsters observed how quickly criticism emerged online. The reaction became strong enough that Rafael Nadal publicly defended Eala, urging fans to remember both her age and her long-term potential. That vulnerability is real. She is still only 20 years old. Few players at her stage of development have ever competed under this level of public attention. The same passionate supporters who fill stadiums and fuel her commercial value also ensure that every defeat receives far more attention than it otherwise would. Yet that is precisely why sponsors continue investing. From their perspective, the extraordinary attention surrounding Alex Eala is not a temporary bubble. It is a long-term commercial opportunity. Sportico's list of women earning at least $10 million off the court during the July 2025 through June 2026 period represents one of the most exclusive groups in professional sports. It includes Coco Gauff, a multiple Grand Slam champion. It includes Aryna Sabalenka, the world number one. It includes Iga Swiatek, a five-time Grand Slam champion. It includes Naomi Osaka, one of the highest-paid female athletes in modern sports history. And it includes Alex Eala, a 20-year-old ranked number 32 in the world. A player who stunned the defending Wimbledon champion before exiting in the very next round. A player who, by traditional tennis standards, has not yet reached the career milestone that usually opens the door to that level of commercial success. Yet she is already in that room. Because the sponsorship market saw something before the rankings fully reflected it. It saw packed stadiums. It saw millions of engaged fans across multiple continents. It saw a player capable of moving audiences in ways that transcend rankings and trophies. Whether Alex Eala wins a Grand Slam next year, 5 years from now, or never at all, one thing has already become clear. The sponsors are not waiting outside. They are already inside. And they have no intention of leaving.